everyone, and welcome to another episode of Willie's Ramblins and Pickups for September 26, 2020. Now, this past weekend I had to spend out on the road. I was out in Knoxville, Tennessee, doing some work out at Oak Ridge at the Y12 facility. And I figured since I would have to spend the weekend out there, I took my Dodge Charger GT with me. And I went and visited the Tail of the Dragon. Really awesome drive. If you're down in Knoxville, go south on 129 out of Maryville towards Deals Gap, and you'll go into an area that's called the Tail of the Dragon. It's a section of road. It's about 11 miles long, has 313 curves in it, but it's very scenic. And the day I was out there on the road, it was nice and a nice sunny day, and it was a very nice relaxing drive. Now the thing I'd be careful of though is it is a really favorite spot for people to zip down through there on motorcycles and other cars. You got to really keep your eye out for any kind of surprises around the blind curves. When I was there on Friday. There wasn't a whole lot going on, so it was a nice leisurely drive. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend checking that road out if you're in that area sometime. And yes, another hobby of mine is cars. I had a Focus SVT. I did a lot of stuff with things like that, and now I picked up this new Charger GT, which I plan on doing some work on, upgrading the engine and other things on it. It's my new toy right now. But anyway, enough of that. This is a retro gaming channel, not a car channel. But anyway, while I was out in the area, I went to a lot of different flea markets and some other places out there. I ran around with my buddy from Retro Artifacts, Will. We did wear our masks. We were being safe per CDC. And we went around and saw a lot of cool things. There's a really cool flea market up in Sevierville. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really big. Had a really cool retro toy store in there called Triple C Collectibles. A lot of cool stuff in this store, like these little robots. Almost bought these little robots they had on display. They're really cool. They also had some other classic toys in there. A lot of neat stuff. I'll put a link down below to their Facebook page if you want to see the place I'm talking about. Also visited some other antique stores, things like that. I saw a lot of cool stuff, like some Box 2600 games, some more retro toys that are really cool. I saw a vintage Tomi Cosmic Conflict, I think is what it's called. It's a little miniature arcade machine. They wanted $20 for it. I almost picked it up, but I already made a video on it, and I got enough junk out here in the game cave. I don't need any more. I'm actually trying to downsize and get rid of stuff I've made videos on, and I'll have a sentimental attachment to. So I've been trying to downsize my retro game collection and also my retro toy collection. I got quite a few I got to make videos on yet, but most of them I plan on just getting rid of. The ones I grew up with, I pretty much have stored away in my cabinets down below, like my Starbird, my Tomi Big Loader, some other classic toys that I grew up with. I have some sentimental value to me. Anyway, enough of that. What else did I see? Oh, at that same flea market in Sevierville, there's this like little barn area. There's like these little miniature barns set up that are like little stores at the end of the parking lot. And in one of them in the back, there was a cool electromechanical game called Speedway. This was the game I used to play at the YMCA growing up. I absolutely love this game. It's an electromechanical racing game. Basically, it's projected on the screen. And you got cars that come down like so, and you got a little red car that you steer to get around them. It's a pretty basic game. It kind of reminds me of Grand Prix on Activision a little bit, but you're always going around a curve. I can't show video of the game because I've not recorded the game playing ever, and I don't want to take someone else's YouTube video and stick in mine. But it's a really cool electromechanical game. They wanted $200 for it. Had I not had the Charger, if I had a truck or something with me, I may have bought it to bring back to restore it, because I think it'd be a really cool restoration project. But that was really good. Brought back a lot of memories of playing that game with some of my friends at YMCA on the weekends. Such a great electromechanical game. I know a few people don't care for the electromechanical games, but I don't know what it is about them. Electromechanical games just have a special place in my heart. Maybe because it was probably some of the first type of games I played with my older brother, because he was a big-time arcade fanatic, and he used to take me to the arcade all the time on the weekends as I was growing up. And some of the early games I played were electromechanical games. There was one that was a tank, and he shot this missile. They had one that had a motorcycle that you would race on this play field. It was electromechanical. They had a helicopter one that I really liked playing. A lot of cool stuff, besides pinball too, you know. I love pinball. Anyway, as the rambles go on. Well, what else did I do out there? Besides that, I did see a couple movies. I went and saw the Russell Crowe movie Unhinged. Wow, that movie's intense. Russell Crowe plays a really good bad guy. That's all I gotta say. Wow, that was an awesome movie. I think I also went to see the New Mutants as well. It was okay. Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't up to par with some of the other Marvel movies, but it was all right. Anyway, let's get to the pickups. That's enough rambling. So, well, before I get to pickups, tonight, September 26th at 10 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing the ColecoVision Mania stream. Now, I plan on doing some original ColecoVision games on the actual hardware. Right now, I've got Donkey Kong queued up, which, you know, was the release on the ColecoVision. I'll talk about that a little bit. Pepper 2, which I love that game in the arcade, and it's a great translation to the ColecoVision console. Plan on playing a little bit of Galaxian. This is my favorite translation of Galaxian to a home console, is on the ColecoVision. Maybe because I like how the wings flap the little Galaxian guys as they come down. It's pretty cool. Also, we're playing Cubert's Cubes, which is a fairly rare game, but it's absolutely incredibly fun game to play, both in the arcade and its excellent translation to the ColecoVision. Also going to play Zaxxon, which is Arcade's favorite arcade game. He's going to be on the stream with me tonight, interacting with everybody on the stream. I'm looking forward to him being on with me. And his favorite game on the ColecoVision is Zaxxon. So we'll be talking about that as we do the live stream tonight. And I also plan on doing a couple homebrew games. I might try to do Lock and Chase, which is a favorite game of my buddy Rick Reynolds from the Televisionaries. He loves that Lock and Chase arcade game. I plan on doing a game by my buddy, I think his name's Tony. I'm sorry, Tony. Tony, if I said your name wrong, I apologize. He does Electric Adventures. He's got a YouTube channel. It's a lot of fun to watch. He did some games, a collection of 3 games on one cartridge that are kind of arcade games with a different name. I plan on streaming that to highlight that. And if I have time, I'll either do Bagman, which is a homebrew arcade game for the ColecoVision, or I'll do Nibbly, which is the home version of Nibbler, the arcade game, which my buddy Tim McVeigh got the high score on back in the 80s and stuff. It's a really good translation of the arcade game Nibbler to the ColecoVision. It's a lot of fun to play. I just recently finished up the PlayStation Namco Museum series. It was a lot of fun to do, to explore some of these games. Some I haven't played before. And right now I'm debating on getting the Encore Collection, which was only available in Japan. It only works on the Japan console or a modded PS1 to play Japan games. I do have a way to play it though. I can play it using my emulator on RetroArch. So I'm thinking about buying the game and going through those games on there, because one of them is King of Balloon, which I just did a video on for Main Cave. I love King of Balloon. It's such a fun game. And there's some other really interesting games on that Encore Collection too. So, comment down below if you want me to try to get the Encore Collection and do a video on that and all its games. I'm debating it because it wasn't available in the States. I'm really debating on getting it or not. Alright, now we can get to the pickups. It was a long, arduous journey, but finally Willie gets the pickups. For the toy tube, I picked up a neat little pinball game. Shaken Pinball. It's Star Wars themed. Got a little R2-D2 and C-3PO in there on the screen right there. Has lights, sound. Sits there and shakes as you play the game. It's kind of cool. Mainly picked this up for like Pinball Electronica, one of those kind of videos, something like that. I normally don't pick up LCD games per se. I'm more into the LED and VFD type games, but there are a few that I really enjoy that I picked up. You know, for example, that Game & Watch I picked up of Octopus last time I went on the road. I love that game. That's a really fun Nintendo Game & Watch game. And I just got to find Fire. Fire is the other one I really like, where you catch those people out of the building and you bounce them across into the ambulance. that gives me such joy to play that game. My buddy Will from Retro Artifacts, he picked me up a Stomper 4x4. We was out at the flea markets. This one's missing its little tow crane on the back, and the motor doesn't run. It lights up, so the motor's probably seized. I may do a video on me repairing this thing and getting it back into working condition again. I'd like to see if I can find myself either a 3D printed crane to put back here or find an original crane to restore this back the way it used to be. I love the Stomper 4x4s. I've only got a couple in my collection, my original and a Stomper 2. So that's kind of cool to add that to collection. Now, retro game wise or gaming wise, I know you guys, some of you guys don't like seeing the toys I pick up. I picked up the new Retro HQ Atari Lynx multi-cart. Runs on a little small SD card up in there. I'm looking forward to doing a video on this. I mainly got this because I only have so much room back there. I got quite a few boxed Atari Lynx games. I wanted a multi-cart. I've been trying to get multi-carts for some of my favorite systems that I own. Besides that, this allows me to get a hold of some free homebrew games to try on the Lynx. So opens up another possibility of videos for me to feature the Atari Lynx. Especially with my Lynx, it's got the McWill VGA screen in it now. So you can really see it nice and clear when I shoot my camera at it, because I don't have a video out on it. For my Odyssey 2, I picked up a really cool homebrew game. It's called Chef. It looked like a really interesting game, so I went and picked it up. I'll be doing a video on this sometime in the near future. I may actually feature it on a Odyssey 2 live stream. I do another one in the future. So Chef. Help with Chef. Also, for my PS1 collection, I picked up a couple more games. I picked up Destruction Derby Raw. I love the Destruction Derby games. They're a lot of fun to play. And I also picked up Maximum Force. This looks like a really fun game. So slowly I'm picking up a lot of games for my PS1 collection. I plan on doing more videos on my PS1 games I have sometime in the near future. I picked up a couple Taco Bell games for the PC. These were promotional items from Taco Bell. I think they came out in the mid-2000s. I'm not 100% sure. For this one, we have Asteroids and we have Super Breakout. They also did Lunar Lander and Centipede. I'm in the process of getting the other two, because I plan on doing just a single video talking about all these. So I think that's going to be fun. I like the trivia questions on the back. Pretty cool. Okay, next up, another game from my PS1 collection, a long box game from Data East. DEFCON 5. This looks awesome. Peace has a price. That's what it says on the back. This looks like a really fun game. Looking forward to trying this out on my PS1. For my VFD game collection, I got a hold of a Tandy game called Kingman, which is basically like Donkey Kong. It's kind of what it's like. It's a really fun VFD game. Very challenging. I haven't been able to get to the top yet. I've been trying like crazy. So I'll be doing a video sometime in the future on this as well. Real nice addition to my VFD collection. Picked up another LCD game from Radio Shack called Turbo Raceway. Awesome. Looks like an interesting race game. Like I said, I don't typically go after LCD games. Well, this was a Radio Shack game, but I've been trying to do videos on Radio Shack electronic games, because I always enjoyed going to Radio Shack around Christmas time and seeing what kind of cool electronic games they had, because they had some pretty cool games ever so often in there, especially when they were big in the VFD. You know, my favorite Radio Shack game they made was that Caveman. I love that Caveman game when you're stealing those eggs from that dinosaur. That's so awesome. Oh, here we go. Oh, here's something cool. Now, this isn't something retro. This is like from a loot crate. But it's the ship from The Expanse called the Rocket90 Ship, or Rossini. I can't pronounce it. It's a little ship model. This was at a store in Maryville, Tennessee, that gets all the Amazon returns. So on a Friday, they unload all the latest stuff they get from Amazon as return items, and everything's $5. And it can be almost anything in there. Like, my buddy has found some rare Super Nintendo games, N64 games in there. All kinds of stuff can appear in here. So the first day to get there would be like on a Friday when they're loading everything. Of course, there's a line around the building because everybody knows that's when all the good stuff's coming out. It's $5. Then on Saturday it drops to $3, and I think on Tuesday it drops to $1. So it's kind of cool. You can rifle. It's just piles and piles of stuff in these elevated bins that you dig through to try to find things. It's actually kind of a cool concept. I really enjoyed rummaging around in there looking for stuff. But yeah, I thought this was kind of cool. It'd be a fun little toy tune video to make on this little model. You already seen a video on this, but you know, I picked up one of those old school retro Atari 2600 controllers with a clickety joystick on it. And like people have said, they can't find this online. I looked. I couldn't find it online either. But I have been seeing them at retro game stores I've been dropping in on. There's one in Sevierville, which I can't remember the name of the game store now. They had a couple of these on the shelf. And there's actually one at Ed McKay's in Knoxville as well. I saw one there. So I guess if you go to like a retro game store or something like that, you may be able to find these if you're wanting to get a hold of one. Don't know why you can't find them online. At least I can't find them online. It's a neat little joystick. It's rather noisy, so you know, keep that in mind, but it's a good responding joystick. Also, for the toy tomb, I picked up a Tomi We waterfalls. This one's called Potamus Pit. Now, back in the 70s, Tomi made some really cool water-based games where you have these little action skill games you fill with water and you try to put hoops on pins or shoot basketballs in the basket, stuff like that. I had that growing up, and I've been wanting to do a video on the Wii waterfalls for the toy tomb. I've decided, I'll go ahead and pick this up and do a video on it, talk about some of the older vintage ones. This one's from the mid-80s, so I never saw this one. The ones I had were in the late 70s. And then on the vein of, I've been having a lot of requests to do a vintage toy restoration. So I was out at the flea markets. I came across a vintage Kenner 1983 Y-Wing fighter. It was $2. It's missing quite a few parts, like the gun on the top of the turret, the nose guns, the bomb. It's missing the nacelle extensions back here. And it's really dirty. It's got a bad corroded battery compartment on it. But I thought this would be a good video for the toy tomb as a restoration video. I think I've not done one yet. So I plan on doing a restoration series where I restore this Y-Wing. Now, it's not going to be with original parts. It's going to probably be with 3D printed parts, because I plan on just putting this on display, hanging from my ceiling or something like that. I'm not going to resell it or anything like that, so I don't care if it's reproduction parts. It's all about restoring the toy and having something cool to enjoy and look at. Pretty awesome. I love the Y-Wing. Also picked up a cool little action figure. Now, I actually didn't find this. My buddy Will from Retro Artifacts brought this to my attention at Ed McKay's. It's the Lord of Light from Heavy Metal, one of the reaction action figures. I wasn't going to get it initially, but I decided to go ahead and get it because I love the artwork on this. It kind of reminds me of Galactus. It's got great artwork. Look at the back. It's so cool. So I'll probably find some place out here in my crowded game cave to hang this up somewhere. I thought it was pretty cool. And also for the Toy Tomb, I picked up a neat little vintage action skill game from Transogram, made back in the 60s. It's called Autodrome. And basically what it is, you have these little steel balls that you shoot up and try and make into this basket up here. And when you make it in the basket, it'll advance the car around the track. So 4 people can play, and you can sit there and race around this track by shooting the hoops. It's kind of cool. Sometime in the near future, I think RK and I will probably do a Toy Tomb talking about Transogram toys and some of the neat toys and board games they made. They made another board game that was really cool called Green Ghost. That's awesome. I don't have one of those, but it's really cool. Now that's just the lid, because I don't feel like picking up the whole box. I'll be doing a video on that sometime in the near future. And then lastly, I picked up a cool poster for my room. Tetris. I love Tetris. So I gotta find a space out here on my wall which is covered with Star Wars stuff and things like that to hang this thing up. Pretty awesome. So anyway, that's all the pickups this time around. Till next time, everyone, have a great time playing some retro games or looking at some retro toys, and I'll see you on the next video.